all of us. I don't know how it is today, but years ago they had this survey, how much of a quality time do really parents spend with their children in a week. It came out to be 12 minutes per week. Talk about, average families. Parents are so busy, the kids are so busy with school, they really have no time, no quality time. 12 minutes a week is like what, a minute and a half a day. It's pretty bad. It's very, very low. But one of the blessings that we have in Judaism is the concept of Shabbat. Forgetting about the religious side of it, Friday night we have always the entire family sitting together and enjoying a meal. Honestly, very rarely you find that three generations are sitting at the same table. In a traditional Jewish home, you find the grandparents, as you know, we all love our grandparents more than our parents. It's normal that way, right? Because the grandparents spoil the grandchildren. So you have the grandparents, the parents, and the children. Sometimes the family is so blessed that they have actually four generations sitting together. You have the great grandchild also. I'm not there yet. My oldest grandchild is only 12. But God gives us life. Maybe we see the next generation too, God willing. So this is actually one of the beautiful things of Shabbat, that every week you have that. Like the regular American life, how many times do you have the entire family together? I don't know, maybe Christmas, Thanksgiving, July 4th, maybe 4 or 5 times a year. But you have it every Friday night. So I'm going to share a story with you. Actually, this is more on the religious side. When we pray Friday nights, it's a little bit different than every other night. Every night that we pray, so we ask God to protect us from harm. Friday night, we don't have that prayer. We say God should put a canopy of peace upon us. What's that? We don't need protection? Friday night? So the tradition says that people, that keep Shabbat, they keep Sabbath, so then Sabbath protects them. So they don't need that special protection. So there's actually a story that this happened in Poland and Russia close to 200 years ago. You guys think only today Russia is attacking Crimea or Ukraine and these things? Russians always attacked. You go back 200 years ago, they would always attack Poland to get the land from them. So one time they actually did attack, they took part of Poland. And one of the generals at that time was very, very thirsty, not for water. What do Russians drink? Vodka, exactly. He was very thirsty for a cup of vodka. So he asks one of his soldiers, where do you find the good vodka? They find out there's a Jewish guy. His name is Abraham, that he has an inn, and he sells, good quality vodka. The problem was, it was a Friday night. We don't do business on Shabbat. So the soldier goes, knocks on the door, and he says, well, I'm here from the Russian general. I want to buy some vodka. He says, sorry, I don't do business. So he goes back. So the general says, this Jew doesn't know what he's talking about. He doesn't want to serve me vodka. Tell him if he knows what's good for him, doesn't want to get killed, better give me some vodka. So the soldier goes back, and Abraham says, listen, I don't do business, but you know what? This is the key to my cellar. Go take as much as vodka you want for your general, but I'm not going to do any business. That's what he says. Very crazy of him, or very generous of him. So he goes back, and the general says, these Jews are weird people. We are weird, but we don't have horns. Some people think that we have horns under our kippas. I was actually one time going to a jail to visit some people. So the doorman never saw Jews. It was a place that there's no Jews. He actually says, do you guys grow horns on your head? I said, not yet. I think because you have Moses has a horn on his head, so they think some Jews have horns. And if you do, we cut them so nobody sees them. But anyways, so says these weird Jews, he gives the key to his place. So he says, let me go have some fun with this Jew. So he goes, and he actually comes behind his house. Again, anybody that has gone to a Jewish home Friday night, white tablecloth, beautiful candles, it really looks like a small feast. It's very beautiful. So he felt bad to go barge in and bother them. He knocks on the door, and he says, I'm the general. So the Jew says, okay, come to my table. He gives him all the good food. I don't know if it was Sephardi, Ashkenazi, I guess it was Ashkenazi Jew living in Poland. And he gives him whatever he wants. At the end, the general wants to give him some coins, and he says, no, you're my guest. I don't do business. I don't want any money from you. So after that, this general started thinking differently about the Jewish people. I promise you one thing. We are not what they tell about us on the media. They say a lot of bad things. Appetite, whatever, bad. Forgive my accent. But I mean, listen, if you have lived amongst them, they're mostly nice people. Of course, we have evil people amongst us too. But it's not the way they show us on the media. So he started thinking differently about the Jews. And then one day, the Polish people try to do an uprising against the Russians. The Russians catch a guy, the guys that were trying to do an uprising, and they find in one of the jackets of one of those rebels a little note that they had a meeting in the motel of this Jew Abraham. So there was no democracy. They thought maybe this Jew actually joined the Polish people to rebel against the Russian government. So they put him in jail and they're waiting for the day of his arraignment to come. Obviously, no democracy. If you have read stories about the Russian jail, a lot of accidents happen. Many people die by accident. It's unfortunate. That's the way it is. Thank God we don't have these things in America, too much happening. Anyway, so there his arraignment is coming. He's sitting in his jail and crying. One day, the head of the jail comes to check these prisoners, and he sees this Jew sitting. It says, "Hey, is that you, Abraham?" And he says, "Yeah, who are you?" Couldn't see me, was crying. And it says, "Well, I'm that general that he gave me a lot of vodka. And I became now the head of the jail, so I'm not in the army anymore. What are you doing here?" So he says, well, he tells him what the story was. They put me in jail because they think I joined the rebels against the Russian government. But I really didn't. I don't know who comes to my hotel. Many people come there. So Abraham promises to help him. So when the court case comes, he says a lot of good things about him, that he's a man, that he gave the keys to sell it. He would never do such thing. So when he goes back home, he gets freed. His wife says, "A miracle. Who saved you?" So it says, "The queen came to save me." Now, who's the queen? Anybody knows who the queen is? Of course you know. What do we call Sabbath? Sabbath, the queen. Shabbat is called the queen. When the queen comes to your house, you have a fantastic meal. That's why you have such a good meal on Shabbat, because Shabbat, Sabbath, is actually like a queen. But the story actually is telling us, because this guy kept Shabbat, and he actually did not desecrate it by selling, that same day came to his protection. Now, I'm not saying everybody to become fully Shomer Shabbat, but even if you could keep 1 hour, Friday night, no discos. I know you guys, your age, you can't go to disco yet, right? I hope not. How old do you have to be? 21? Okay, so till then, even after you turn 21, Friday night is a family time. Even if you can't keep the entire Shabbat, doesn't matter. You keep it for an hour or two, you keep it for half an hour, it's a very awesome thing. So at least for the family thing, that you have the family together, this is what actually makes us to be strong. The connection between the families, actually we have been Jewish mainly because of the family that we have, that we kept those things very strong. Again, sorry that it was a little bit of a religious story, but the point of it is family is very important. Please guys, never give it up, cherish them. We are blessed that we have families. Many people are orphans, don't have any parents. I'm saying, thank God we do have them. We're living in a very wonderful country that they give us all the opportunities for education, to be able to support ourselves. Let's keep that. Thank you, guys.